one of my subscribers told me just recently that he got into an argument with someone about uh, the efficacy, if you will, of Bruce Lee's skill when he lived, when he was living. And he said he got into a heated debate with another martial arts practitioner. And it just seems to go on and on and on, this feud about whether or not Bruce Lee was entitled to be labeled the greatest martial artist of our time. And, it's really interesting to me how you can give people all of the proof in the world, not just particularly as it relates to Bruce Lee's credibility, but you can show people with evidence anything, have the proof right in front of them, and they'll still deny it. They still will denounce it. They still will say that that's not true because that's just who they are. And I'm certain in most instances it's some sort of agenda that they have, or they are protecting themselves from something, saving face, if you will, just depending on what the situation is. But it is unfortunate, really it is, back on the subject of Bruce Lee, how you have these different classes of guys. First of all, there's a group of people who have never studied martial arts, never trained in any traditional martial arts at all, or weighing in saying that Bruce Lee was not a good martial artist and that he was overrated. And then there's a group of people who lived during that time who are martial artists, masters and practitioners, who were just simply jealous of it because it was an Asian, for the most part, in white America, who came to prominence in the martial arts world and worldwide. And it wasn't them. Don't forget, 60s and 70s, racism abounded. It was not common for whites to marry blacks and Asians during that time, even though you had people who did. And Bruce Lee married a white woman, Linda. It just was not commonplace, so racism did abound. So for black folks in America, for the most part, to always have our heroes be white. Batman was white. Superman was white. All of the heroes and the cartoons that we saw on television during the 60s and 70s, they were always white. And even the picture of Jesus in the Bible was white. So Asians were depicted as servants in TV shows and movies, working on the railroads and things of this nature, never in prominent position. Remember Charlie Chan and that? Blacks were always servants and babysitters of white children during the slavery times and that period. There never were black heroes or Asian heroes. Now, here comes Bruce Lee, an Asian who reaches stardom in the martial arts, and then you have all of these other non-Asians upset that it wasn't a white person for the most part. But anyway, I'm not trying to twist this to be some racist thing, but it's just simply the truth. If you delve deeper into Bruce Lee's upcoming, you will find out that he was the recipient of racism as well. He was. Look at the Green Hornet, the scene that he played. He played the chauffeur, a servant to a white star. Think about it. Look at the television show Kung Fu, who starred David Carradine. Bruce Lee was supposed to be the person that played that character. And they took a non-Asian, a white man, made him look Asian as much as they possibly could, because they was not going to have an Asian star. Think about it, really. But anyway, fast forwarding to his credibility. If he was, and I've said this many times on different platforms, in different instances, Bruce Lee was not picked by one group of people to be the martial arts phenomenon that he was. The world, by and large, chose him, and he was not chosen to be the greatest actor who pretended to be a martial artist. He was labeled the greatest martial artist of our time by the world. He's the only one that came to prominence that people mimicked. They imitated him. They had a Bruce Lee look-alike contest throughout the world. They've never done that for anyone else. And this was an Asian, right? They had people all come together from all over the world trying to identify as Bruce Lee, or Bruce Lee's character and or image. There were many movies that were made imitating Bruce Lee. Dragon Lee, Bruce Lee. There was a bunch of them imitating Bruce Lee. Many of them were subject to lawsuits because they were using his name in movies to try to profit off of his name. But no, let's pump the brakes for a minute. You're saying he was just an actor? Huh? Why did he get all of this attention as just an actor pretending to be a martial artist? Come on now. The world said he was the greatest, not brother teacher. I'm only saying what everybody else said. It's just that little pocket of people, even in modern day MMA, who never knew the man. I didn't know him, of course not. But I came up during that era before he died. I was there. I studied, observed him throughout my whole martial arts career. And his system as well. And his students. Come on now. He didn't become the greatest by happenstance. He put some work in. So much so, his life was shortened as a result. But he accomplished what he intended to do. He did express himself in his system of martial arts. And he did it on film. And we saw him in all his glory. I'm sorry. If you are a Bruce Lee hater, that's your prerogative. If you want to contend that he was not as good as they say he are, as people believe that he was, that's your prerogative. That's all I really have to say. But you have a whole world 50 years after his death still saying that he was the king of Kung Fu. He was the greatest martial artist of our time. There'll never be anyone who ever met or will meet the level that he did and receive the same acclaim for the same. That was it. And that was all.